Hey guys, what's up? PipSnipers here, back for another update. Let's take a look at this coin called DGB. Now, DGB is one of those dino coins that hasn't really moved in a while. It's just been stuck in accumulation, and a lot of people have actually forgotten about it. But what we see over here is signs of massive accumulation for a little bit over 1,000 days. And we can see here that back in 2020, when they cut the rates and all of the altcoins went on a bull market, DGB just came up and formed a double top, slightly sweeping this buy side liquidity back here in 2018. Now, all the people who held through this cycle, right, they're expecting this move to actually get a good all-time high in, but it actually just swept it by a little bit. And then I know a lot of people who held this back in the previous cycles, they held this all the way down. And that's the same case with XRP, right? XRP did the same thing back in 2020, where it just came up to this supply zone and then had your bear market with Bitcoin. Now, if we really take a look at this structure and see what type of correction it has formed from 2018, well, we have an ABC down over here, right? You could call this your ABC. This is your ABC down in your A. So this would be your A wave. Then you have another 3-wave move for your B wave, slightly sweeping this high. And then you have a 5-wave move to the downside. So this would be your wave 1, your wave 2, your 3rd, your ABC for your 4th, and then your 5 down. Okay, so this over here would be your B, and then this over here would be your C. Now this is a classic running flat pattern where your C wave fails to terminate beyond the bottom of your A wave. Now, as you guys can see, when we take a fib from the March 2020 low up to the May 21st high, we can see here that we clearly found some support off the 78.6% fib. And now, like I say in my previous videos, when you like in the crypto markets, you tend to see major reactions off the 702 and 786. Let me just clean up this chart a bit just so I can show you exactly what I see a little bit better. So taking a fib here from 2020 up to the high, you can see that we're still holding the 786. We can even put the 886 in there just for a little bit of a safety net. And I'll show you guys here. And now look at what we've been doing at the bottom. So usually what you want to see, what you want to look for first before buying into a coin is two things, right? Number one, it would be, does it have price-based capitulation? How much did that coin go down by? And then what did the coin do after having that price-based capitulation, after having that such a big drawdown in a bear market? The price, if the price goes sideways and just ranges like this and makes slightly lower lows, right, slightly higher highs, but overall is just ranging, you want to track how many days this has been ranging for. If it's been ranging for over 500 to 1,000 days, then that's likely signs of accumulation before we start our next leg in the market, right? It can't, remember that these coins can't stay at the lows forever, right? This is what I was showing for XRP for over a year, right? I was walking you guys through the range, showing you guys that, remember, XRP can't stay at these lows forever, right? That's the same with every coin. So what do we have here going back to 2021? We have price-based capitulation going down by just shy of 97%. And then after that price-based capitulation occurred, how many days did we go sideways for? Well, we can check here, and we've gone sideways for a little bit over 1,100 days. So now we're likely to see expansion to the upside. And if this is our, so let's put our wave count on this I'll show you here. This is your ABC, ABC for your B, right? This is your A, this is your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So this is the end of your correction. That's your ABC correction. And now what this looks like over here is your first wave to the upside. This was your first wave. And then we came down in an ABC correction for your wave 2. right? So this would be your wave 1 and your wave 2. Now, what we have over here, it's a very, I would say it's a very complex structure, because normally when you see, like to the retail mind, you would think, okay, this is an ascending channel, probably a wave 4, and it's going to break down like this and make a new low. That's definitely possible, but what I'm thinking is, what if this is just a shakeout? So if we zoom in here on the daily time frame, you can see that we've been ranging in here for, I'll show you guys here. We've been ranging here for 100 days, for over 110 days. This is your psychological support. Okay, and we've broken below it. So you have a bunch of buy stops stacked under this trend line. So this would be your trend line liquidity. Take a fib from the trough of this 116-day long range up to the peak. And we'll take a look at where it came down to. Okay, so it came down to the 61.8% fib. We'll also take a look at the 70.2% fib and the 786. Okay, so DGB can do this, manipulate down to the 702 and 786, and then see a pop off from there, like this. Okay, I've seen that before in the market. And then all of the people who see this breakdown over here, right, over here, they're exiting their position with the anticipation of DGB making a new low below the February 2025 low, right? Back down to this low in November 2024. So I'm just pointing out the scenario where this is just a manipulative move before we go out and take out these highs, which would be your wave 1. Now, we would be looking at these targets over here. We can just take a fib from this high over here down to this low. What we can actually do is take it from the peak of the range to the trough. So the highest recorded price within the range. Okay, and then these would be all of your breakout targets. Okay. And we can also take a fib from the 2021 high down to the low. Extend this a bit. Put this like that. And you see how this 786 perfectly lines up with this 3.618 4.236 extension, right? You're starting to see confluence here with the way we place the fibs. So this is a fib cluster, right? And that's where you'd want to look to take profit if this is a third wave, because then you would have to come down for a fourth, and then you may even see a fifth wave to go ahead and then break the all-time high, right? But you want to definitely capitalize on that third wave if it comes, because there's even a possibility that this, if we get a push down here, it can come back down to backtest this 1,000-day range. And you definitely don't want to be a holder through that. So you want to look to TP at these levels. But definitely save some coins aside just in case it fakes out and then produces a fifth wave to then go ahead and make a all-time high. Okay, now this analysis is just factoring in price and price action. I'm not factoring in time or anything like that, but from a time perspective, I'm thinking the move would happen around the summer months, like June, July, August, September, around there. But for the all-time high, we would be targeting these levels right here. We would actually take a look at this on the linear scale, and let's just remove all of these fibs here. Let's remove all of these irrelevant fibs. Okay, and we would be targeting the 1.618 and 1.786. Okay, so here, 28 to 31 cent, and then 45 cent. Okay, these would be the blow off top targets. And then on the macro, you may even form a diagonal, right? This would be your diagonal. And then you would come down for an ABC for your bear market. And then you could form something like that. We'll see it. We'll see how it plays out level for level. But this is what I see on DGB here. We have time and price-based capitulation going down by a little bit over 96%, and then going sideways for over 1,000 days. Definitely showing definitely has the hallmarks of Wyckoff accumulation. But now we have gone below a 100-day long range. We broke below the trend line. However, it could signal just manipulation before we move higher. But in the case we go below the 786 over here, then it's likely we'll just revisit these lows, sweep the February 4th high, and then come up from there, right? It'd be pretty simple. Then we would just have to take a fib from this low instead up to this high. Then it would probably just come down to the 886 if it lost the 786. So it'd come down here. And then sweep this low. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed the DGB video. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. If you really love the content, then click the link in the description below to join the Discord. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.